Hi folks, today we're going to look at a problem that some of you raised questions about in section 2.1.2 about recursive sequences. So first of all, a little bit of notation. So in this problem we have a C with a subscript. So I'm going to write that just as C underscore 1, but in Newton you'll see it as C with a little 1 kind of lowered below the line, and so that's called a subscript. And sometimes we might call this for short C sub 1, and that just means C with 1 as the subscript. So C sub 1 is 2, and then C sub 2 is 1. Now what that means is basically we have a sequence that goes 2, 1, something. And we're looking here for C sub 5, meaning we'd want 2, 1, something, something, something. So we're looking for the fifth term of the sequence. So now we know for the sequence that C sub n equals minus 2 C sub n minus 1 minus C sub n minus 2 minus 1. Now what that means is that each time we go through, we're going to multiply by -2 the previous term, subtract the term before that, and then subtract 1. So let's see what that looks like for C sub 3. So for C sub 3 we have minus 2, and then C sub n minus 1 becomes C sub 2, and C sub n minus 2 becomes C sub 1, and then that becomes minus 1. So now what that means is now we have minus 2. We'll go back up here and see, okay, that's a 1. Now we'll see C sub 1 is a 2, so we'll subtract 2, and then subtract 1. And now we have minus 2, minus 2, minus 1 equals minus 5. So now we know we have 2, 1, minus 5. And so we have the third term, and then we need to find the fourth and then the fifth. So next we'll go C sub 4 equals minus 2, C sub n minus 1 becomes C sub 3, minus C sub n minus 2 becomes C sub 2, then minus 1. Great, so now C sub 4 is minus 2, C sub 3 is minus 5, so we'll bring in the minus 5. C sub 2 is still just 1, so we'll subtract 1 and then subtract 1, and that gives us -2 times -5 is 10, minus 1 equals 8. So now we know that the fourth term in the sequence is 8. Now, what we're going to do is find the fifth term in the sequence. So we have minus 2, we do C sub n minus 1, so that's C sub 4, minus C sub 3, minus 1. Great, so now C sub 5 is minus 2, C sub 4, which is 8, so minus 2 times 8, minus C sub 3, which is -5, so minus -5, minus 1, and that gives us -2 times 8 is -16, minus -5 is plus 5, minus 1, and that gives us -12. So now we know the fifth term in our sequence is -12. And so since we were looking to find C sub 5, then we know C sub 5 equals -12, and here's our entire sequence of 5 terms, with this being C sub 1, C sub 2, C sub 3, C sub 4, and C sub 5. Great. There we go. and let me know if you have any questions. And thanks for watching this video.